What's going on, folks? Ted from Immersion here, and it's time to talk about the magic items found in Strixhaven, a Curriculum of Chaos. There's not a ton in here, and what's interesting is they do all have pricing. And we have seen in the past Wizards of the Coast was staunchly against giving any magic items pricing of any kind, and some of these are not just specific magic items as found in this book, but things like +1 weapons and spell scrolls and things of that nature. So before I show you that and take us over to D&D Beyond to take a look through it, you can see right here the number's at 88.1k, and I would love to have that hit 100, and the only way I can do that is if you are watching and you haven't subscribed to the channel already. And if you haven't, please consider doing so. All right, that's enough of that. Let's go ahead and jump over to D&D Beyond. So first off, you can see, here it is, the listing of the rarity. Let me zoom it in for some folks here who are watching on their phones. And then the gold price. And if you take a look, a +1 weapon, as listed from the DMG, they're saying is 300 gold pieces, and a first level spell scroll is 50 gold pieces. Now, again, we typically don't have that, and if you were to look at the Dungeon Master's Guide or Xanathar's Guide, there's a whole complicated formula and finding someone to buy it or someone to sell it to you in the first place. It's a whole thing. This is significantly easier. Now, maybe it's because it's the world of Strixhaven. That's a little bit different. I don't know, but either way. So first up, we have what I consider to be my favorite magic item of all time, the bottle of Boundless coffee. Now, there is some things that people have brought up, but I'll tell you my thoughts on it. A common, wondrous item, and this metal bottle carries delicious warm coffee. The bottle comes with a stopper, which is attached to the bottle by a little chain. Even when open, the bottle won't accept any liquid other than coffee it produces. The coffee inside is always comfortably warm, and none of the heat can be felt through the bottle. Each time you drink the coffee, roll a d20. On a 1, the bottle refuses to dispense coffee for the next hour. If you pour your coffee from the bottle rather than drinking from it, the coffee vanishes the moment it leaves the bottle. Now, I drink my coffee black, so for me, this item is perfect. But some people have brought up, 1, it only does hot coffee. You can't put any kind of ice in it. And you can't put cream or sugar in it, because it says it won't accept, you can put sugar, because it won't accept any liquid other than the coffee it produces. So you could put sugar in there, but you can't put cream or anything like that. You also can't pour it out into a cup to make some other kind of coffee drink from it. It's basically just the coffee. Next up, we have the Cuddly Strixhaven Mascot. So we've already talked in the past about the 5 different mascots that exist. This is a stuffed animal of that. It is tiny size. If you press it to your arm, shoulder, or leg as an action, it stays attached for an hour or until you use an action to remove it. It can also be used to fight off fear. When you make a saving throw to avoid or end the frightened condition on yourself, you can give yourself advantage on the roll if the toy is on your person. You must choose to do so before rolling the d20. If the save succeeds, you can't use the toy in this way until you finish a long rest. It's a pretty simple, common magic item, but I know a lot of people are going to be like, it's a stuffed animal. I don't care. It's still great. I don't want it because it's a stuffed animal. It's a thing that, it does say only attached for an hour, but if it's on your person, then it counts. It doesn't have to be attached for it to account. So if you have one on your person, it's just a benefit to have in giving you advantage on the saving throw. And it's not just to avoid it, it's also to end it. So even if you are frightened, if you fail initially, you can use it as a way to end it as well, which I thought was cool. Next up, we have the Lorehold Primer. Now, all of these primers, which is the remaining actual weapons for the rest, other than the Strixhaven Pennant, the primers, you'll notice a lot of similarities because they are for the given class, or the given school that you're a part of. So for the Lorehold Primer, as a magic textbook, has 3 charges, regains a d3 charges daily at dawn. If you make a history or religion check while holding it, you can expend a charge to give yourself a d4 bonus to the check immediately after you roll the d20. Notice it says a d4 bonus to the check, so it would stack with something like guidance, because it's not the same effect. In addition, if you study the primer at the end of a long rest, you can choose a first level spell from the cleric or wizard list. Before you finish the long rest, did I say lizard or wizard? I don't know. Anyway, before you finish your next long rest, you can cast the chosen spell once without expending a spell slot if you are holding on to the primer. It's intelligence, wisdom, or charisma, your choice. For Prismari, it's all, again, the same things, except it's acrobatics or performance check as opposed to history and religion. And then again, for the extra spells, it's a first level spell of the Bard or Sorcerer spell list. Quandrix is Intelligence, Arcana, Intelligence, Nature check while holding it. And the spells you get to choose from are either a first level spell from the Druid or Wizard list. The Silver Quill Primer is Intimidation or Persuasion checks, and a first level Bard or Cleric spell. And I'm going to skip to Witherbloom and come back to the Pennant. Witherbloom is Nature or Survival checks, and from a first level spell from the Druid or Wizard list. And the Strixhaven, I said pendant before. It's a pennant, like a flag. This magic pennant bears the symbol of one of the colleges. While you wave the pennant, the symbol on it glitters, and the pennant sheds bright light in a 10-foot radius and dim light for another 10 feet. So a common magic item, pretty much the sole purpose is for school cheer and to show your love for your given school. So there you go, folks. That is all of the magic items found in Strixhaven, a Curriculum of Chaos. So at least those are all of the ones listed in the book. You never, or at least in the appendices. Now, in the past, we have learned that sometimes magic items appear hidden elsewhere, thrown through and strewn throughout the pages. So I'm going to do a quick search while we're sitting here talking and see if I can come across anything extra in the book. Well, we can. I'll go ahead and take a look. So minor spoilers for Strixhaven Curriculum of Chaos, because we're going to look at the magic items that are in it. But we have a Drift Globe. This Mask Charm, I believe, is new. As a small silver pin, while wearing this charm, you can use an action to cast the Disguise Self spell, DC 13 to discern the disguise. Once the spell is cast, it can't be cast from the charm again until the next sunset. When casting the spell, you can have the spell last for its normal 1 hour duration or for 6 hours. If you choose the 6 hour duration, it becomes non-magical when the spell ends. In either case, the spell ends if the charm is removed from you. That's a really cool item that I was surprised that was, again, somewhere in the pages of the book, not covered in the appendices or the section specifically designed for magic items. We have Mergraxor's Orb. This is a legendary magic item. Is a Mergraxor once foul experiments. A spirit has infused the orb, which has spread a terrible curse among the Strixhaven students. Is a sentient, chaotic, evil item. We has stats here. At any time during your turn, the orb casts the Suggestion spell with a DC 17, targeting you or another creature that touched it within the last 24 hours. Any humanoid who touches the orb must succeed on a DC 10 Wisdom save or be cursed. Each creature cursed by the orb bears an echo of his Mergraxor's hateful thoughts, and that creature suffers from headaches and that are persistent but not debilitating. On your turn, the orb can use an action to produce one of the following effects. The creature falls unconscious for an hour. They're roused if they're woken up. Visions of terror. The creature sees terrible visions, causing it to view all creatures that aren't also cursed as dangerous monsters for 10 minutes. The cursed creature must use its action each round to make one attack against any the nearest non-cursed creature. If it has multiple targets, it's chosen at random. After either of these effects ends, the affected creature is no longer cursed. It can also be removed with the Remove Curse spell. A magical signature. As a side effect of the orb's curse, the spell Detect Magic reveals an aura of enchantment surrounding the creatures bearing the curse. This aura is distinctive, but in a way Detect Magic offers no further details about. Okay. And then there's rules for destroying it. We have the primers and the pennant. So that's really it. So the only other magic items that weren't covered in the magic item section was the Mask Charm, which I think is actually a fantastic item. And something similar to this or a direct copy of this will be appearing in my own homebrew campaign because I really like that. And then again, Mergaxor's Orb, the legendary item, which again seems more like a plot device, less of a thing that your characters... They might come across it, but it seems like it'll be more of a plot device. So, there you have it, folks. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. And I will be back with more Strixhaven content, but I think we're going to take a little break from Strixhaven to go back and finish up Fizzbands before we come back to finish up Strixhaven. Hopefully with enough time to have be able to finish before the expanded gift rule set comes out. So, once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.